Goldylocks Productions broadcasts universal cosmic frequencies that unlock, awaken, and expand the consciousness of our worldwide viewers and listeners. Explore secrets of the universe with show host Sherri Zimmerman. Navigate between the worlds of both the physical and the spiritual planes of existence.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Secrets of the Universe. I am your host, Sherri Zimmerman. And today I have brought a guest that somehow I found when I go off and do my little Googling and searching people. And then came across this young woman who I found very interesting. Her name is Skye Samuel. And Skye does, not only is she a fourth generation psychic medium, tarot reader, she is also a Reiki master and does life coach as well. So in a few minutes, we're going to have Skye come on and share with us just about her life and how she got into all of this work. Great healing work that we all enjoy, trying to connect with this energy and understand what's happening in our personal worlds. So, and as you've been following me of these last few weeks, we've kind of been showing a different variety of shows. And I am more drawn to a lot of the psychic medium work because I think right now, more than ever at this time period, with so much going on in the world, with the COVID and all the issues that are rising right now, I think it's really great to be able to touch in with some people that have a real good connection with the other side and can bring through some information and what's going on. So we're going to get started and bring Skye in. And by the end of the show, she'll do a little reading for me so you can all see how she works. And then you can hopefully be able to call her and get your own reading going. So welcome, Skye. Welcome.
Hi, how are you today?
Good. And you? How are you doing?
I'm very well. Yeah.
Good. So why don't you give us just a little bit of background of how you got started? I know that you are located right now in Sarasota, Florida, correct?
I am at Wild Ginger Apothecary in Sarasota in Florida. That's where I am based out of. But I'm also available. I come from the UK, and I've been in America for about 30 years. And I started off in Connecticut, and then I came down to Florida about 20 years ago. So I had my own metaphysical store that was called Skye Metaphysical in the Tampa area. And like you mentioned, I'm a fourth generation reader. My grandma taught me to do readings around the kitchen table when I was a little girl. And I've been working professionally for about 35 years. And over the years of working within metaphysics, I now do, a little astrology. I'm a psychic medium. Mm-hmm. I work with the healing arts. But I love my passion, and my love is my tarot. That is my biggest, it's what I go to, it's my go-to, and it's what I love to do. So even though I've, explored different avenues over the years, I still love to go back to that. But I bring a lot of astrology into my readings too. Because actually when I started learning astrology, that my divination changed. I realized that the planets and the energy of the planets really do affect us and our cycles. And so working with divination and working with the cards, really showed me that the cycles of what was going on in the sky really made a huge difference and an impact to the readings and what was going on with people and why people were having a lot more ups and downs. I mean, like you look at the moon, for instance, it comes around every 28 days, whether we like it or not. Right. And, that energy, that lunar cycle, that brings so many different aspects of, women's cycles and women, that are having babies. A lot of babies are born at full moon cycles. And that's because it pulls the tides. So those magnets of those planets really do affect our subconsciousness. And when we see waves or cycles in people's behaviors, I look at the planets as well as looking at these magical cards. And that's where I get a lot of my inspiration and get downloaded from that that extreme.
That's interesting. You know, I've been doing tarot readings for about 30 years now. So, and I've been an astrologer for the same amount of time, but I don't combine the two. And I'm like you, I do love the cards. There's something really special about cards. I don't know why that is. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's just something about the beauty of certain cards that come out for somebody, you know, like literally they're meant for you, you know, and it's just really, I love the cards. I'm really, I know, you know, a lot of psychic mediums sometimes, or most often don't use, you know, anything. They just do straight psychic work, which is great too. I appreciate that as well. But there's just something tangible about the cards. So combining the astrology and tarot is very interesting. That would be really kind of neat, because you are following, you know, what's going on with the planetary alignment. So that's interesting. Where, like you said, you started with your grandmother teaching you. I read a lot of your bio and it was fascinating.
Yeah. So my mother's side of the family, they were Romani gypsies. And, you know, they, and so apparently, by what I understand, before I was born, the Romani gypsies, came out of Europe, and my family went through Ireland. So my great granddad moved into from Ireland into England, and they settled. And so there was my great grandma did the tea leaves. My grandma taught me to read with the regular playing cards. My mother's a reader. I am the only one, like, out of all the grandchildren that really took it off. I was fascinated when I was a kid, and I just loved it. And obviously, when I was younger, I was brought up with a culture of people that are open-minded to different way of being. So I was very fortunate like that, because I was allowed to express myself. The mediumship part of myself, being open up to the other side, happened when I was very young. And I'll be honest with you, when I was a little girl, it used to scare me. And, you know, it spent many years trying to push it away. And, you know, but I know that, you know, once I realized that there was boundaries, and the more I worked with my gifts, and the more that I embraced the parts of myself, and that comes with age, that comes with time, you know, and we're still growing, right? You know, I don't think we ever get there. I think for every day I rise on a morning, and for every day that I rise, I learn something new, and I embrace that on a daily basis. So the journey never stops. You know, one of the things that I think that COVID's brought out for me is a lot of technology. You know, I'm very old school. You know, give me an abacus. And, you know, and a set of cards, and a tea kettle, you know, and I'm all good, right? But, you know, it was kind of like, it was interesting. And, you know, I came I was working here out of Wild Ginger Apothecary, and then COVID hit. And, you know, this is a small business, and it's a beautiful business. And, you know, myself and the owner, Nicole, and, you know, a couple of the other people that are here, we came together as a great team. And, you know, it was about people coming together this year and being able to support each other, and, you know, and support the community, and make ourselves available by curbside pickup, and, you know, readings online, and I went live on Facebook. And, you know, it was keeping that memento going and being there in service, to be there for the community. And that's very important to me, and my service, and how I act within, you know, in the realms of what I do. So that's an important thing.
Yeah, there's no doubt that all of us in the world today, or in this time period, there's no doubt that we are really probably one of the greatest things that humanity is coming to understand on a very deep level, is that it is about, you know, can you really step outside yourself? Can you really step outside of yourself and literally, you know, work together in a way that really human beings, you know, throughout history, on and off, that we've done that. We have done that. Unfortunately, it seems to happen more when there's some kind of a crisis going on, right? However, even though that's said, it really is amazing how much we can really see what we can do, so seeing people come together and really, showing maybe another side of them that maybe some people have not been in touch with, for a long time, by simple things. It doesn't have to be even big things, just simple things. And I do think that's the power of humanity, is that we're really being asked at this time period, to really kind of say, what can you do? What can you just do something for somebody else, or a group, or an organization? It really is. To me, this is just an incredible time period. And that's one of the reasons I do love working with, anyone in the healing work, whether it be, crystals or Reiki. It doesn't really matter the modality, because it's all the same energy. We're just manipulating it in different ways, right? So
absolutely.
I love the fact that you come from such an upbringing, which, of having this openness, and like, oh my God, it's almost like being a child and being able to let your just natural abilities to just flourish. I mean, I can't even, like, my grandmother, thank God, she used to share things with me when I was a child, about her dreams, her prophetic dreams. So, but it was always quiet. We didn't talk openly about it. You know what I mean? So it's beautiful. Like, you really got I think that's incredible that you were able to really,
Yeah, it was interesting. It was an interesting upbringing, because the other side of my family, my father's side of the family, was very, very different. So, this was really my mother's side of the family. But, I was, but we also kept things quiet, believe me. It wasn't like, we had to learn like what you could say and what you couldn't say. It was kind of interesting. But I was, my gifts came out when I was very young. And, I did when I was like in my teens and in my early, I wanted to be like a fashion hairdresser, and I wanted to do, all these different things that we do. And as we're growing, but I always came back to this, and the universe has allowed me, and I've been very blessed, because I don't call myself, it's kind of interesting, like a weekend warrior. This is what I do as my profession. This is my this is my profession. This is what I do full time. And I love my work. And so it's not work today. It's about me sharing the passion of what I do and helping other people on their path. So technology has, like, that was an awkward thing for me. And, me working with Nicole here at Wild Ginger, she enabled me to get over that stepping stone, and for me to be able to work with this technology equipment, if you like. And but what that's shown me is, how amazing is that? I could only talk to the people that used to be able to walk down the street, right? Now I can talk to people anywhere in the world. I can go back to my roots. I spent 8 months in the UK. My mother is my parents are still over there. I went to see my mother, and she was unwell at the time. So I went over there and stayed there for a few months. And I worked out of a shop on the Isle of Wight, because that's where I go back to. Even though I was raised in Yorkshire, in Leeds in Yorkshire, I went back to the Isle of Wight because my mother lives there. I lived there for a short period of time too, before I came over to the States. And that's where the Isle of Wight Festival is. And that's where Queen Victoria lived the rest of her life. After Albert died, it's a very Victorian island, because Queen Victoria had her family home there. And after Albert died, she never left. She spent the rest of her life on the Isle of Wight. So it's a very Victorian built, beautiful island. And the Isle of Wight Festival, which would be 52 years ago, that was the year before Woodstock. So all the people that made Woodstock famous, Jimi Hendrix, Rolling Stones, all those, Janis Joplin, they all opened up at the Isle of Wight Festival. And every year it's this big festival that everybody comes from all over the world to go to.
Really? Really?
So I went to the Isle of Wight, and I was there. And And so a friend of mine, Julie, has a store in Newport on the Isle of Wight, which is like the little capital of the Isle of Wight, called
Right.
Dragonfly.
Okay.
And they've been there for 26 years. And it's a little metaphysical store. And I do readings out of there when I'm back in the UK. So what's amazing is with technology, I can do readings on the Isle of Wight. I can do readings to people up in Connecticut, or to people, you know, with COVID that can't leave their homes, or, you know, in quarantine. And now I'm doing a little show in California with a friend of mine, Douglas Starks, who has this show that he got that started up out of COVID called Capistrano Live, and that's live streamed on a Wednesday, and I'm part of that show. And so this technology is saying, you know what, Skye, you can be like everywhere. You know,
Exactly. Exactly.
And you can share your gift, and people get inspiration and get driven, and really, really, you know, it helps so many people. And I feel as well that it's a journey, you know, so I don't like the term life coaching, even though that's what we do, because I think that it's, you know, it's an ongoing journey. I have clients that I've been doing for over 10 years. Right. And, you know, we go through this life with them, and we share, and you grow a part of that. And it's a form of, you know, we don't always have the answers for ourselves. So sometimes we need people we can trust. Right. Right. That we can open to on that level, and they can guide us through some of the most difficult times.
I see this, Skye, what the work that we do, I actually see it more as a calling. I see it more as like something you're called to do. Like somebody would be called to be a minister, or somebody would be called to being a great musician, to spread the love. I see readings or people that are really, that do this for a long time. To me, it's a calling. It's something very deep within my soul. I actually started, the reason I really got into readings, and this is kind of involved, so I'm not going to give the whole picture, but I had a separation from a young child. And my desire to get into card reading was literally to follow this child through life. And that was one of the ways that I was able to do that. I literally had such a strong desire to know from time to time what was going on when I didn't know everything. I knew a lot because we had connection, but it was just long distance connection. So this was my way really of tracking my child. So I took it very personally and very, you know, it was very important work to me, you know. So I agree with you. I think it's more than just, you know, for me, it's a calling, you know, something that you're called to do. And it is amazing. Technology has set us up that we can do readings everywhere and with anybody. And I think about a lot of people that are inbound home, where they're homebound and they can't get out. Or some people, to be honest with you, I still know some people that don't want to be seen going into one of these stores, you know, into a metaphysical store. So some people, it's more personal for them, so they could have a reading and not have to feel, you know, if they're not yet there yet, you know, they can still have a reading. So no, I love the fact that
you know, I have a few clients that I've been doing for a lot of years, you know, that could be kind of like high profile, and basically they have to be very discreet. And you know, you know, I'm an ordained minister, and the reason that I became an ordained minister was also for a sense of that, you know, it protects me, but it also protects you. You know, what is said at the table stays at the table. And you know, people come, and sometimes when they have nowhere else to go, they can't go to a therapist, they can't go to, you know, they come to us and they open up and share their biggest, deepest secrets. And they have to do that knowing that it's safe. You know, it's safe within. And I also, what I tend to do is that when the person leaves, I kind of drop it. In other words, I let it go with the person. So when they come back, I always say to them, I don't remember what we talked about. We have to pick up from the beginning, you know, because basically if I had to retain all the information that everybody tells me on a weekly basis, you know, so I just kind of, I don't take notes. I don't keep anybody's records, and
Yeah.
nothing's down on paper, you know, and it's that for a reason, because it's a confidence of trust that's spoken within that and I
No,
call
I
it
agree.
at my
I agree.
table. Yeah.
Yeah, I have found quite a few people in the 30 years who really wanted it to be kept just, you know, what it was. And that's why they were coming, because they really couldn't share it with other people.
Mm-hmm.
And it is amazing. I mean, when I think back all the years I've done readings and some of the stories, I mean, it's really powerful. I teach tarot right now. I've been teaching tarot for about 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I do tell my students, I said, it's an honor and a privilege to do readings for people. I say, you know, people really will come to you and trust you, sometimes more than their even their family members. So, I mean, there's things that just come out that there's something about a reading that allows that more free flowing type of a thing. I think when you think about therapy, and I did the whole therapy thing, I did it for about 10 or 12 years. So I think there's a difference when you're going to therapy. There's still that kind of a feeling there of, you know, not that it's a judgment, but you're kind of being analyzed on some level. I think with a reader, you know, with people who do readings, I think it's a little bit more, you think a little bit different. You think more outside the box. Do you know what I mean? Where a therapist,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and the other part of it is that I'm very ethical with my readings. You know, I believe we carry, you know, that there's karma involved with it. So I have clients, for instance, that if I said to them, well, you know, I think you should just go home and do this, that, and the other, they probably would. There's a karma that goes with that as a reader. There's a responsibility of how we have the spoken word, how we see a message that's shown to us or downloaded to us in some way, like with bad news, for instance, or something that could be, you know, to do with something that could be a tragedy, for instance. And it's how we communicate that. It's how we are the channel to communicate that message, to enable that person to be able to take that information gently and to be able to protect themselves or use that how they go through life. So I say, you know, I help you to go to your soul's highest purpose, for you to be able to channel the information to use or to prepare yourself for what is there. And then there's other things that are just the universe hands us that are outside of our control, like the Tower card, you know, that's COVID, it's politics, it's the economy, it's the weather. You know, we have no control over it. So there's certain things that are fated. But we manifest a lot of our own realities. And it's those choices that we go to, or those pathways, whether we turn a right or a left. And when people are at a crossroads, that's the time they sit at the table. Now, sometimes some people just want the joy of a group of women together. Let's get together. Let's have a tarot party. And they're a lot of fun, you know.
And I've done so many of those.
That's a lot of fun.
It's fun to watch. It's fun to watch the women. Like, you know, one of them will have a reading. I used to do groups all the time of 7 or 8 people, and I do one was a wedding party. And it was in West Virginia when I had my bookstore called Heaven on Earth, A Divine Place. And I remember this group of girls, and it was like I would be sharing. They wanted to do it all in front of each other. So I'd be doing the one reading for the one girl. The other girls are like jumping in and like, oh, yeah, you know. So it really is. It really is. It's just amazing. You know, it is amazing work. When I teach my students, first of all, I do want to touch on real quick what you just said. I totally agree with you. I think it is about ethics. When I teach my students, I'm like, you know, you have to understand that you are holding this person's, you know, information, their life, the words. I even tell my students, the words that you choose to say, the way you deliver the message is extremely important. So and I also tell them, you need to watch what your judgments are. I'm a big believer that when I go for readings, I can usually pick up whether someone else sometimes has judgments by the way they're sharing the information about the reading. So I tell my students, you know, you really want to look inside yourself and kind of take a look at because you're going to have some people that come to you that you may not agree with where they're at in life or what's going on. but you still have to be ethical, and you have to keep yourself more, you may not understand it, but I'm very big on the ethics. I think it is a huge responsibility. So I'm glad you brought that up. It is. But it's such rewarding work. I mean, I love the work. I just, this is like so much good information for people to understand what it's all about,
Yeah, I keep it very neutral as well. It's like, we've been through a huge time here in the United States. We've just had a year of an election. So I keep everything neutral. I don't bring politics into my readings. I don't bring religion into my readings. And I take my ego out of my readings. I have to I'm there as a channel. And I basically think that I'm there in service for that time. And so I don't, there's certain things that I will not, and if somebody brings it up, I will say to them that this is not an appropriate place for us to discuss this. That I think you need to go to a lawyer for that, or a doctor for that. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a lawyer, so I need, there's certain things that I bring up, but, the parties, and seeing as we're coming up to the holidays, right? It's that time. Now, this has been a very big year of change. I've been doing parties for a long time, and usually I get so for instance, we just had Halloween, and I get booked the year before for the Halloween parties. Well, this year everything changed with the COVID. And so what I found was that a lot of the big parties got cancelled, and I think that that's going to continue. Smaller gatherings have been happening, which has been nice. There's socially distancing. So when somebody books a party here, they go through Wild Ginger Apothecary, they book the party. We have certain guidelines, I've done where I sit outside, say, for instance, on a porch, or for instance, I'll sit in a place where there's socially distancing. Did a beautiful witches' tea party. All these women do it every year. Beautiful. And all their little gift bags, they got a little fascinator witch hat, and they got a matching mask. And so every person that sat at my table wore this little mask and this fascinator, and it was, and then they all had English high tea and little pumpkin squash soup in little cauldrons. It was
wow. Are you
fabulous.
Serious? Oh, wow.
It's fabulous.
And I have to tell you, my grandmother, my father's mother, is from England. Her parents were straight from England. So, and when I did my DNA thing, it came up as Yorkshire.
That's where I come from.
That was the area supposedly my family line from my grandmother came from. I've never been to England. I'm really dying to get to England. So I know one of these years I'm going to go. So yeah, that's exciting. Yeah. Okay, well, this is really, I love that you're sharing all this good information, and I see that Tiffany has put up your website there so people can make contact with you. Yeah. And primarily you do the half an hour and an hour reading.
We work in 50 here at Wild Ginger. We work in 15-minute increments. We do a 15-minute, half an hour, 45 minutes, and an hour. We have been having a great special because we wanted to support with the COVID, and we wanted to make it, so we've been doing a great $25 per 15 minutes. And we feel that that's been really fair, and it's been, an affordable reading. So somebody that wants a quick question answer can do the 15, or they can do a half an hour, or they can do an hour. So basically, that's just been for like 2020. But we're going to keep that going until the end of the year. And so also I do we can do Zoom, we could do FaceTime. There's lots of different ways that we can do it virtually, and I can do the readings by phone as well.
Oh, good.
So yeah, so basically, I think that we, that's like I said, that's how you would contact me. Okay. If you wanted a private party, then that you speak to us personally. That's each event has a different it depends on how many hours and all that kind of thing. Right. And yeah, so we, like I said, I love it here at Wild Ginger Apothecary. We also, the store itself, we sell crystals, We sell CBD. We sell, beautiful. Everything here is natural, and it's all fair trade. And then we've got a studio here, which I'm sat in today, which offers sound healings and sound bowls, and because we've again done everything socially distanced.
Great,
So
great.
it's a beautiful place.
Are you doing any kind of teaching, Skye? Are you doing any classes yourself, as far as whether it be online or at the place that you're at?
Okay,
Or
not right now. That's something that we're looking at. I've been teaching tarot for over 30 years. And, sometimes I'll put a set of classes together. I think that this year has just had so many different shifts in it.
Yeah.
That, the teaching, I think, is probably going to come more. I'm putting some serious workshops and things like that together. For 2021, but this year has just been this conundrum of different events. And so the next thing you know, now we're here at the holidays, right? So
right.
So I think that I'm going to be teaching. I do a set of classes with tarot. I do the hero's journey, which is the journey from the Fool through to the world. And then I do 2 other classes, which are two different suits of the lesser arcana. So, for instance, I might do swords and wands, and then cups and pentacles. So it's basically 6 hours. It would be like a 2-hour major arcana class, and then a 2-hour for 2 of the elements, and then 2 hours of 2 of the other elements. That's how I do it.
I do a 6-week course. So mine's broken up a little differently. Mine's a 6-week course. Yeah. So we cover like wands and pentacles one week, and then we go the following week the swords and the cups, and then I do 2 different weeks for the major arcana cards, because I think it's so much information, for me.
It's a lot of information.
Yeah.
No, it's a lot of information, and I think it's a starting. To me, I do the hero's journey. To me, is a starter interest. These are the rules of tarot. This is the difference between tarot and oracle. This is the rules. These are the guidelines that go with tarot. And then if somebody has an interest other than that, going through those basic learning techniques, then you go on to some deeper teaching,
Sure.
But that's like my starter class.
So it's more like an introduction you're talking about. It's a little bit more of an introduction. Okay, that makes sense. That way it kind of gives people an idea. This is primarily what it's about, right? So that's a great idea. Is there anything else that you want to share? I know we're gonna be getting a little mini reading from you. So kind of show everybody what you do and how you do your work. And
I also on Facebook, you can join Wild Ginger Apothecary's Facebook page. You can follow me through them. We have a lot of videos that go up there. I've also got Skye Samuel readings and Skye Samuel page on Facebook. So we work a lot through social media. It's it's there every day. Every day I do like a card of the day. I do a weekly reading that's also on YouTube that you can look at, and I do a monthly reading on YouTube. That people can follow.
So people on Facebook, people can just search you, Skye, which is Skye, and we have it right on the screen here. They can just go ahead and Google on Facebook, and that'll pull up. Okay, you don't have anything else around it. It's just your name. Okay.
Skye Samuel or Skye Samuel readings and Wild Ginger Apothecary, and that's how you're going to follow me.
Okay, great. Okay, I'm excited to see what's going on.
Okay, so what would you like to do today, Sherri? Would you like me to just pull some cards of the day? Should we have a look at?
If you have a mini reading, I tend to do mini readings sometimes, which is I just do a Celtic cross, a small. I don't do the whole reading, but I do a double. I actually do a double Celtic cross when I do my reading, so it's very involved. So whatever's a small mini reading is good for me. Sorry,
go on.
No, I was just going to say, so that way people can kind of see how you're reading, and how the message comes through. So
So I am a storyteller. So what I do is that when I'm doing a reading, I am permanently turning cards. I do my Celtic cross, which goes around until till to the point that I feel that that's enough for that first, what I call first hand down, and then I continue to turn the cards. And
Oh,
so that's what I do. I can turn, maybe a deck in a reading. Maybe sometimes I'll go into on another subject, another deck too.
wow.
So
Wow.
it's a continuous flow of
Oh,
information that's
wow. Okay.
downloading
Yeah,
through
yeah,
me.
yeah. Because you start channeling. Yeah, yeah. Matter of fact,
So,
when I
Sherri,
have
tell
my
me when
book.
you want me to stop.
Oh, okay. All right. One more shuffle, and that's good. Okay, we're good.
Okay, so interesting. So we're starting with the death card, right?
Oh, wow.
So this is
Okay.
interesting because this is a time of endings and beginnings. And this year is the biggest year. 2020 is going to go down as the biggest year of transformation. So I just wanted to show you all that before we start with the other cards here.
Yeah, I always explain when I get into the death card, I'm like, this is all about transformation. All the old has got to go away for the new to come in. It's going to be painful, but you got to let go of the old so the new can come in. Yeah.
So we've got the death card. He's the first card down. And what this is telling me is that we are in the middle of a transformation right now. Endings, something has to die before something can be reborn. The card that came along with that is this beautiful, I love this card because it is the Seven of Wands, and he is the card of victory. He comes in on this amazing horse. He's won the battle. He's got all these people at the side of the road. They've all got their sticks and they're all cheering along and saying, hey, come on, it's victory. And so it's saying in this transformation, we're going through to a new victorious time. I love this feminine energy that I've pulled here. These are beautiful. Queens sit on a throne. They are the feminine. We have the Queen of Wands, who's the Queen of Fire, and we have the Queen of Cups, and she's the Queen of Emotion, along with the Empress, okay, which is the creation. So all this feminine energy here, she is the nurturer. This is the year of taking care of ourselves. This is self-care. And queens are mothers, they're daughters, and they come with this beautiful energy to take care of everybody, but including us. We mustn't forget who we are.
Right.
We have to keep our cup full, and we have to keep our fire lit to enable to help other people. So with this new creation that's coming, I also have the beautiful Fool. He's the zero, he's the void, he's the start of the journey. So he has nothing to lose. He is on the edge of that cliff. He's going to jump off. He's got his dog of loyalty, and he's got his little backpack there. And it's saying, I'm ready. I'm ready for new beginnings. I'm ready for new, motivation and new manifestations. What's interesting is, I think that there's been I love this card because this is boys with sticks. It's not men with swords. And always reminds me of like the Morris dancers. So this is kind of like a rite of passage to me. It's like when the boys go out into the market square and they're all there with their sticks. So this is kind of like an uncomfortability or a little bit of an argument, but it's not a fight. And so when I see it with this, it's saying the little struggles that have been going on, don't concentrate on what you can't see. This is saying don't concentrate. He's looking, he's sat there, but he's not looking here. He's looking down here. And he's in alignment up here. He's in alignment up here with the tree. But it's saying the hand here is saying to him, this is an opportunity. So it's saying get out of the rut. Get out of this uncomfortability that's going on within you. Because the star's coming, right? And the star is the light in the dark. It's number 17. And 1 and 7 is 8, which is a number of completion. So in this card, she is the temperance of the night. She has 1 foot in the water and 1 on the earth. And she has the 2 cups of alchemy. And she pours away that ripple effect of what's no longer working for us anymore. And for us to come into the card, because this is the card of hope. And so as we follow that light, which leads us through the dark tunnel, it means that we're going to have some new beginnings and some things that are going to be reborn. So I'm loving this. So it's new beginnings, new creations. It's concentrating on what we've got coming after the ending of a cycle, and we can start some new things. And
okay,
the card that I'm, go on.
I was just going to say, I want to try to make this more personal. It all fits, but I want to make it really more personal as far as what's going on with me in my life. I definitely see the transformation as happening for me that I'm in and going to be ending hopefully soon. I don't know if you do timing. I do a lot of timing with my readings, meaning stuff that's happening over the next couple months, over the next couple weeks, next year. So this is what's going on for me right now. I mean, there's really about 3 questions. One, waiting for a woman to come into my realm, into my immediate, presence or space, because I am, I'm getting ready to license a board game, a chakra yoga board game. That's not made out of cardboard. It's made out of wood. So I'm wondering about that. And I see all that female energy, and I do see the card of the 6 of Wands, which is the card of victory and success. I'm looking for a house, which I'm wondering, when is the house going to happen, when I'm going to literally get the money to buy the house, or at least to get the house going. And then of course, love life. Everybody wants to know about their love life. So
so let's start with the women first of all. So I love this fact of this creation, because the Empress is the creation. So she's the birth of a project. And so it's saying that you are at the end of a cycle. It's saying that you have, we've all gone through this transformation, but it's saying that you're going to create new things that are going to go forward into the next part of your journey. That's where this card comes in, as far as I'm concerned, which is basically this is movement. He's on the horse, he's moving forward. Everybody wants you to be successful. So that's a good thing. Now, the women energy, you've got the emotional energy and you've got the creative energy, because fire and the wands are creation, and then the cups are emotions. That's water. So basically, you need somebody that's going to come in to your realm, that's going to give you the creative energy that you need, but the emotional support. So I like that, because it does tell me that this is going to be successful, because that's the craftsman. Now, it is telling me that you have to tie up loose ends to get this going. So but it's got a projection on it, and it's got paperwork being signed at the end of it, which is your legal card.
Do you have timing on that, Skye? Like a timing frame?
It's kind of interesting, because when I was turning these cards, I was doing more of an open, kind of situation.
Right.
But, I was kind of looking at, I'm looking basically at next year. I'm already looking from what we're going into now into a period of 2021. So I feel that, honestly, with that, when I'm looking at these numbers here, I'm looking at 6s and 7s and 5 6s and 7s right the way through this. So basically what that's telling me is that in the next 5 to 6 months, there's definitely going to be a shift change, which is going to come into something where there's paperwork involved.
Right.
So if you're going to try and sign a contract on this board game, and patent it, that kind of thing, it's saying go for that in the next 6 months, and the chances are that it will be very highly successful. It's saying you've been given a doorway, an opening for you to be able to do that right now.
Well, I'm actually hoping I'm doing that soon. I mean, everything hasn't lined up yet. I already have an attorney I've had for a year for the board game. I'm waiting on this financial. There's something I have in the workings of financially that I'm waiting to come in from an accident I had last year. This is tying up loose ends is what this is saying. So it's saying you've got to tie up these loose ends, otherwise you're not going to Well, the bottom line is I really can't do anything. I can't really move into any direction right now until these other things line up. So there's no doubt.
I'm looking at 6 months. I'm looking at 6 months.
Wow,
Yeah,
it's not that long. I've been waiting like 10 years. I've been waiting 10 years for this to happen. So really,
but it
seriously.
doesn't mean to say that it's not 6 weeks for things to start moving. But if you want to actually if you want to promote something and for it to be so that people can actually use it, I'm not sure how it's going to work.
Right.
It's showing me 6 months.
Okay. Okay. Well, that would be reasonable. I think when I meet this woman who I have another psychic medium that gave me some more details about the woman herself. So I think that once that woman comes into the picture, things are going to move along a lot quicker. So that's kind of what I'm waiting for is for her to appear. So
she's coming in, though. She's coming in. She may not come in the form that you think she comes in. She may come in a different form. She's going to come in from more an emotional place.
And yeah, but I'm looking for somebody that's actually going to license it, though. I definitely want the emotional. Yeah, but I'm talking to somebody who's, I could see that fitting for the woman that my psychic medium told me about, her more details about her. I think that would be fitting. She would have that kind of energy. Yeah.
She's your sign, right? She's your creator.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So you've got two people there. And she's your creator.
Yeah.
She's your emotional person. Now it could be it could be forming into one person.
Two sides of a female. No, I get that. I get that.
But I do feel that paperwork will be signed on that. So it's because the cards around it are very supportive towards that. Everything is a little bit on hold, because of everything that's going on in the world right now. So, as the energy pushes forward, the creation cards, the victory cards, the licensing cards are all there. So, finishing up and finding the right person will manifest that project.
Yes, you're exactly right. I mean, the legalities are already set up. I'm really just waiting for the actual meeting. I just moved from Florida I was in Port Charlotte for 30 years. And I just moved to North Carolina in August. So I know that the woman is here somewhere in North Carolina. I have not mingled enough because I'm really not out there a whole lot yet, so I'm trying to go to different places in the area to try to either meet her or I'm going to meet her online. One of the two.
I was going to say, I think you might meet her online because, there's a lot of creative energy, like we said, that's coming out of this right now.
Yeah.
So, so I do feel, though, that there will be a successful project.
Nice.
So that's good. What was your second question?
The other one was about a house or a relationship, either one. We've only got about another 5 minutes. So.
Okay. So let's have a look at this now, did you buy a house?
No, I'm looking. I'm still looking, but again, I'm held up for financial reasons. I've seen a house I really, really love, but
so what's interesting is that this is your card. You see, financially right now, that's that Tower card, that things are outside of our control. This is holding on till the right moment comes. He's got his feet on the pentacles here. He's holding on. This is the element of earth. And so he's holding on here. Now, what's interesting is you've got the other queen. You've got a lot of feminine energy in these cards. There's your queen. She sits on a throne. She holds that big golden gold. It's saying, don't jump. If you have a certain amount of, like a little bit of money that you've got to one side, for instance, or you want to buy something or you think you might rent, it's saying don't jump in too quickly. Just hold on to what you've got until the right opportunities open. It's also telling me there's the Hermit. He's standing back again. So it's saying that you want this, but don't push yourself, because it's saying as doorways open, new creation opens, which could be your card game. This could be what opens your doorways of finances, right?
Right.
A new creation will make it more lucrative for you to be able to make the choices that you want to make. So it's saying at the moment, you're going to be, see, I'm looking at that. It's saying walking away from, so it's saying leave your options open. So a rental or somewhere that's more temporary right now might be the out might be the right thing to do before you make the big choice
Okay.
of totally settling down. It says
I
keep
see.
your options open so
Okay.
that you could move, so that you're not making a final decision that's rapid.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes a lot of
Okay.
sense.
And relationships, well, Venus is in the works today. She came in this week. Venus is like Aphrodite. She comes in, she brings all this love and excitement, and she actually is in Scorpio this week.
Yeah.
So she lights up the sky with love. I look at relationships as being choices.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that they're choices, and that there is things that are set in stone. But I think that when two people are coming together, what I love about this card is that it is, if you look at this card, you'll see in the middle, you'll see the caduce, which is the symbol of medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the angel is looking down with the strength of that lion. He's bringing the medicine into their cups, the masculine and feminine together.
Is that the card? Is that the card you pulled up for the relationship?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
That is
yes.
the relationship card. So I'm
That is
familiar
the
with all my
relationship
cards.
card.
Yeah, that's the relationship.
So-
That's a new relationship.
Yeah.
Because
Now,
there
what's
is another
interesting?
card. There is another
Yeah.
card that talks about a deeper connection of a relationship. So this one is, for me,
That's
this
about
is
making the medicine. Yeah, that's
Uh-huh.
about making the medicine.
Yeah.
So it's about, so it is saying that there is somebody out there. It's not necessarily you're just new to your surroundings.
Mhm.
And this is a very weird year to meet
Yeah,
people.
yeah, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's not your typical, right? But I'm a
But what
believer.
I like,
Yeah.
look at him. He sits on a throne,
Oh,
and
nice.
he's got a big golden coin. So we
it's a
like
pentacle
that.
guy, right? I would be attracted to a pentacles guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he's secure, he's grounded.
Yeah.
So what it does say to me is that this is going to be a year where you can, if you really want something in the universe, we have the ability to manifest whatever it is that we want, as long as we're willing to do the work,
Yeah.
So when we open up ourselves and say, this is a time for me to feel like this is time for me to create my new project, which will give me the flexibility for me to be able to do those things in my life that'll make my life easier, because money will flow more easily.
Right.
Then
right.
It'll be time for me to be able to get that, that King of Pentacles who's got that stability, that we can do something together that makes that third entity. And that's how it works.
Yes. Yeah.
So I'm going to say that you've got a pretty successful year coming up. So we like that.
I know. Thank you so much. That was really exciting. Thank you. It is. It's I know I'm kind of I've had another show a couple weeks back where I'm doing similar questions, because it's amazing to me that they're all your answers are similar, where it's saying the same thing, which is really great, because it just shows the consistency, that when messages come through, they're really divinely, brought through, for every individual. I'm always blown away by when I do card readings. I'm like, oh my gosh, you can't plan this. It comes out so perfectly from, spirit. So I thank you for that reading. And there's information about Skye again. If anyone wants to contact Skye, you can go to this website that you see on the screen, and you can hook up with her, and she'll bring through whatever is meant for you. And if you have a few questions, is there anything else you want to share real quick? We have about a minute left, Skye, before I say goodbye for you for today.
Just want to thank you very much for inviting me on the show today. It's been a pleasure. And I think it's beautiful when we all come together with the same gifts, that we can share our gifts to help, people and help the community.
Yes,
so thank you.
Very well said. Yes. And I thank you again for your time, your energy, and the healing work that you're doing. It's really appreciated. I really, really want to thank you for what you've been doing in your life, actually, not just this year, but I'm sure you've been doing this a long time. So it's very honorable work. So thank you. Thank you. You take care, Skye, and we'll see you again. I always have my guests back on again, because I like my audience to get to know them. So we'll do this again after the new year. All
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah,
okay,
thank you.
Great.
Have a beautiful day. Namaste.
All right. Take care. So I just want to thank you all for being here with me again today. I just do love the psychic mediums of the world. They are my favorite to touch in with. But we're going to have some more future shows coming up with a lot of more different subject matters. So I'm hoping that you will stay with us and have a nice holiday next week. We will not be having a show next week because of the holiday. So I'm wishing everyone a wonderful Thanksgiving. And as always, may you always wander in the direction that your spirit guides. Take care.
Become a Goldylocks Productions VIP patron. Receive exclusive access to live stream special and other epic perks. Join the Goldylocks Productions VIP community today.